How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTCReaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we did see a bit of a push forward. That did cause Bitcoin to pull back, but our altcoins are still pushing forward. Remember, usually Dixie goes up and crypto pulls back. We may see some correlations soon, though, as dollar index may start to look better, depending on how some of these new policies will work. So over on the daily, VWAP does have lower lows with lower highs. We have a bearish trend, but we are seeing that VWAP reverse. That is positive. Watch for that to hold on lower time frames. If it does, we could see that push forward to about that 109. There's a 40% chance. There's also a chance to push into the 107. If we hit that 107, that would be a lower high, and then we would have a chance of pulling back again. I would exercise caution in that case, because then we may see that pull back to around that 100 area. That kind of aligns with us warning about that head and shoulders, like back in here, I believe it was almost a week ago we mentioned that. So I would watch this very close. Remember, if Dixie breaks down, that could be positive for Bitcoin. Over on Bitcoin, we almost saw that 55%, so almost our full breakdown that we have been warning about. That did cause Bitcoin to pull back, while our altcoins got a little bit of a push forward. RSI is dropping, money flow is weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish, and momentum is dropping down, so I would exercise caution. It does look like that Bitcoin dominance is overall max bearish, but our MPP does show a chance that we do push back up to that 58 above our value area high. And remember, if we can get strong green candles above that, then we could, excuse me, sorry about that, then we could continue forward. We could push, wow, that MPP does say we could push to about 70% Bitcoin dominance. I don't think that'd be too probable, because if we jump here on the weekly, it has been quite some time since we had a 70%. Back in 2020, we had a 70%, and 2019, I believe that was more toward bear market territory. So if we hop over to Bitcoin and we look at about 2020, 2019, actually that was the beginning of the bull market. So if we do see that Bitcoin dominance flip and get that high, we may see some parabolic run-ups like we have in previous histories. So that is kind of what that's showing there on the weekly. Over back to total now. So dominance does look positive, as it could bounce forward, but overall it is in a bearish trend. Watch that bearish trend. If it continues, we do still have that chance to push down toward our point of control, which would be about 53-54%. Remember, if Bitcoin dominance increases, Bitcoin will go up. Total would likely slip, but that wouldn't be too bad, because that'd give our altcoins a breather while Bitcoin makes its run up. Remember, we said it typically goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins back into Bitcoin. So we may be seeing that back into Bitcoin then going on pretty soon. So over on total for the daily, we are continuing up. We did say watch for a push toward previous all-time highs. We got pretty close, about a third of the way there from yesterday. So we got about 2/3 actually, if you count the wick. So we did get a very strong move forward. We did try to pull back, so we'll have to watch the lower time frames. VWAP is favoring bullish. Watch for that to gain more strength. With that VWAP being bullish, isn't very strong. So while we are bullish, it being a little like flat and on the weak side means momentum could still break away and money flow could pull back if those lower time frames flip into bearish territory. So if we look over at the 1 hour, there could be a probability for a head and shoulders here. This would be our shoulder, this would be our head, slightly higher than that shoulder, and then we could pull back, make another shoulder, see it bounce forward, and then see a rejection. Watch for that move. Or positive note, we could try to make a bull flag by consolidating in this range and then pushing forward. That bull flag could push us very high, actually, so we'll draw that real quick. There would be our range, possibly right in there. We'll say that's a freak breakdown, just because we have some candle wicks that stopped here, candle bodies here, and then that was just like a very quick move. So that being said, our trend line would be from the bottom of that trend up. I wouldn't count all this. That was a separate breakout. And then you would apply that forward, and that would give us a test around that 1.13 trillion. So that would be a strong push up. Our momentum is pushing bullish, but we do have a lower high. So while price action is pushing for higher highs, and momentum is making lower highs, that has the potential to create a bearish divergence, so it splits away. And remember, when you get that split away, you do end up spitting back down. VWAP does have lower highs. Watch for lower lows. If we break that neutral, momentum could break away, giving us that lower high in momentum and causing that divergence to actually show on our indicator. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, there is a high probability we still see that gap filled. It was about 77.7, so we almost went up about 1/10%. RSI is starting to weaken, momentum is dropping, our stochastic is favoring bearish. RSI is rejecting that neutral, so watch if that VWAP continues to reject that neutral, momentum will continue lower, money flow will break down, and price action will start to retrace. Again, that wouldn't be too negative, and we could still see price action retrace and dominance increase, because that would mean Bitcoin would lose less than total, and that would make sense because Bitcoin went up less than our altcoins. So over on futures here, stochastic is starting to push away, RSI is weakening, VWAP has lower highs. Watch for higher lows here though. We're trying to make some higher lows. So if we can get a higher high and hold above that neutral, then momentum could continue higher, money flow could break up, and we could make a break forward. It does say we have a 75% chance of pushing to that 102, possibly making a double bottom here. However, there is a probability that 60% chance that we still see a flush out to 92K. There is a 25% chance this is a lower high where we are right now, so watch that very close. If we make a lower high right here where we are, then we could see that pull back with a lower low. So if we broke that 95K, then that's likely where we would continue toward that 92.4, 92.5 zone. Stochastic is starting to go flat. VWAP is trying to break bullish but struggling, momentum wants to push up, and money flow is trying to break that neutral. So watch very close over the next few hours. We need that VWAP to break over the neutral and hold. If it can, then it's likely bulls will remain in control, push us up, and dominance would increase with Bitcoin increasing. Remember, there is still a chance dominance can increase while Bitcoin loses. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did get our buy order filled just above that support level. We are still at a bit of a loss though, because again, our average wasn't too strong. That's why we said buying in this range really wouldn't help us, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you there. RSI is starting to pull back, momentum is rounding. Remember, we cover our trades at the end of the video. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. We have a red dot on momentum suggesting VWAP wants to break down, and the money flow is in the green. But with the momentum getting that red dot and VWAP pulling back, that money flow could start to reject if lower time frames start to favor more bearishly. So over on the 1 hour, zoom in, get that MPP. So there is a probability of having a higher low here. There was a 50% shows. So there's a 50% chance we could make a bounce, continue forward. That would be in line with our other 50% chance. But the other 50% chance is saying this could be a lower high. So I would really watch the zone because our MPP is kind of conflicting. If we do get that higher high with higher lows, then we can continue toward that 100K. However, if we reject that 95K range, 96K, then it's likely we would continue toward that 92.4, much like futures. Our stochastic is pulling back. VWAP is favoring bearish with lower highs, so watch for lower lows and a rejection of neutral. If we see that happen, momentum would continue lower, money flow would remain in the red. But if we see that VWAP break that neutral and hold, momentum will push up, money flow will go into the green, and we would again see that 100K push up. That's dependent on us breaking this range where we are though. So over on graph for the daily, again, we'll show our trade on that. We did not get any graph filled. Remember, our graph targets were a bit lower, so that total, seeing the possibility of pulling back with that dominance increasing, may help fill that order down here. So we may get a little bit more graph here. Our stochastic does want to roll away. We have a double red dot. Momentum does want to push down, and VWAP is in the bearish territory. Money flow is in the green, but if that VWAP holds in the bearish territory here, momentum has that red dot, which will bring money flow lower and give us a further push to the downside. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a 42% chance of making a higher low, and then hopefully continuing toward that 31,954, 32 cent, and trying to break. However, there is a slightly higher chance that we do pull back to our second buy area. We may want to actually move that up just so we can try to capture that, just in case we fall into that range. But there is a higher chance, I would say, we fall between the medium of the two, and that's why we put that order there last night. Stochastic does want to round away. Momentum is pushing up. VWAP is pulling back, and the money flow is in the green. Looks like our orders are getting a little goofy. Not sure why it does that to us, but overall, it does look like our money flow is in the green. VWAP is bullish. Momentum is pushing forward, so I'm betting more on that push up. The MPP doesn't really show where we could break up toward, but we do have, if I make this white, it'll be easier to see, that 37.7 as a previous resistance area. If we can get over that 32, make a bounce and hold and continue up. So that would happen if that VWAP continues our bullish trend and if that money flow can stay in the green. If that VWAP starts to break down, then I would watch these lower probabilities and watch for a breakaway. So over on Anchor for the daily, we did get a very big wick down. We did get our buy order filled yesterday. Momentum is starting to pull back. Stochastic wants round. RSI is pretty flat, and the VWAP is starting a bearish trend with lower highs and lower lows. So watch that very close, as it could cause us to see a further pullback and maybe fill some of these other buy orders we put in. So over on the 1 hour here, we do have the potential for this to be a double bottom, which could try to break us forward. So if you draw your kind of trend line here, then you would draw from your head to your neckline, apply that up, and that would give us a break to around that 46,948, which there is about 46% chance of us hitting. That would be providing we can break this neckline, pull back, make a retest, and continue forward. If we can do so, then we could try to push up toward that 5172. However, yeah, it does look like all our orders decided to cancel. However, if we see a rejection of this neckline, there is a 50% chance of dropping down to the 4143, which could be a higher low. So if we do pull back and get bounced there, that could still be positive, giving us a bullish continuation with higher highs and higher lows, providing we break that neckline afterwards then. But if we do not hold in that 4143, there is a high chance we could pull back down toward that 3485. Momentum is running up, VWAP is in the bullish territory, money flow is in the green, Stochastic does want to round, and RSI is starting to lose steam, so watch that Stochastic. If it breaks down, RSI could start to lead price lower. With that VWAP starting to curl away, that could also give us that rejection of the neckline, so watch the next couple hours very closely. Over on XRP for the daily, we just continue to push up, and just defy all this MPP. That's again why you use different indicators. Using just one indicator is not necessarily going to work. Yeah, it looks like all of our orders decide they're going to cancel now, so we may end up having to replace all those. But momentum is pushing up. Stochastic wants to round. RSI is gaining strength, and that VWAP is trying to push forward. We do have a bullish trend there. So that being said, we could continue forward, providing lower time frames stay bullish. Money flow is in the green, so we have seen quite an explosive run here. Hard to really map where we could go from here because we're just seeing parabolic runs, and it's kind of hard to map exactly where you could go. So that's why it's nice to DCA in and DCA out. That way you can take some profits, maybe get some XRP for free, and then you would hold on to that free XRP for a long time. Or for until your target is, that is. Momentum is overall starting to break down. We have bearish divergence. I would exercise caution as that momentum makes lower highs and price makes higher highs. VWAP is trying to reject down. Money flow is bullish, but if that VWAP does not recover, money flow will start to round away. So I would exercise caution and watch that VWAP very close. If we see it reject this neutral, then it's likely we will continue down and fill probably this 149. So there's a 52% chance. There's also a chance we get hung up on that 240. I thought we had a buy order for somewhere around this neckline because we said if we wanted to drop down here, we would buy in. We'll see if TradingView actually keeps our order this time or not, though, since it's being a little goofy. So overall, I would watch. We do have lower lows with lower highs on that VWAP, but that VWAP is making an attempt to break that neutral. If it can break and hold, then we could continue another run up. This could be a consolidation, and we could see a little mini bull flag here, so we could draw that out. That would be against our MPP, though. Again, no indicators 100%. That's why you use more than one indicator. If I can get that line to move, that could give us a push to about $3.31. But that is providing that VWAP gains bullish traction. If that VWAP doesn't gain bullish traction, we could reject this and break down. We only have one touch to the bottom, one touch to the top, so this flag is nowhere near confirmed. So remember, Algo will be our last coin unless you have any special requests. We may cover Ondo once in a while too, as someone in our Discord is into it. I got into it myself because I feel like there is some potential with tokenization, real world assets, and out of the kind of 4 projects I was looking at, it was the one I could obtain the easiest, mess around with the easiest, and it was also one with a bigger following than some of the others. So remember, if a coin has like 50 followers on like Twitter, you don't want to buy that coin, it's probably a scam. Momentum does want to round away, stochastic wants to pull back. RSI is pushing forward. VWAP is in the bullish territory, but it's starting to pull back. Watch that VWAP very close. It needs to make a bounce here if we're going to continue forward. We do have this indecision doji candle suggesting we could pull back if we confirm with a red candle. Watch for a red candle, then get another red candle after that. That would be your confirmation, and that confirmation could end up breaking us down to around that 26-cent zone. I thought we had a buy order here as well, so we will put a buy order here, see if that can actually stick or not. Again, trading view does seem to be a little goofy for us, but that would be buying a decent amount. Our MPP does say there is only a 12% chance of pulling back to the 39. That would be providing we can make higher highs and higher lows. Breaking forward from here, there is an 87% chance of that, but we kind of need to push off the zone we're in right now. If we don't push off before we break this like 47.30, then the bears may gain control. We could see lower highs and lower lows, and if we saw that, that would bring us lower. So watch that very close. Right now, that VWAP is trying to make a bullish trend with a higher low, so that VWAP needs to break that neutral and hold to push momentum higher and give that money flow a bounce. If that were to happen, higher time frames would push forward, and we could see that 60-cent push up. There is only a 7% chance. So the MPP is pretty much saying we're gridlocked because there's only a chance we stay where we are. So again, not 100% on any indicator. You're not going to get a true reading, but they can be helpful in most cases. That's why you gotta learn when they're kind of broken and go off other TA skills like your patterns, your other indicators. So that's why we use more than one thing. So now we will hop over to our trading window here and we'll get rid of this. So let's see what orders we still have. We only have 2 orders now. We have our XRP order, and it looks like all these orders were canceled. I wonder if it'll let us replace these orders or not. No, it doesn't let you just click on your order and place it again, so that's a little goofy. So we did replace our XRP order. We replaced our algo order. It did look like we had 2 algo orders, so we're just going to leave the one for now since it likes to kick out our orders every day. Over on Bitcoin, we did fill that order by pulling back here. We did see a little temporary push up. You could have gotten a little bit of a swing on there if you were watching that VWAP and money flow, but if you were watching that money flow didn't get a strong push and that VWAP started to round away, so that could have been your selling signal. Again, that might have been a little late as you would have been pulling back to right around here, but you still could have gotten a decent swing. Again, I wouldn't go for just a little 1% swing because most of the time it's not worth it. You want to get a few percentage, but again, a few percentage a few weeks out of the year will help stack up. You only need to 100% like 7 times, I believe is on a few $100 before you can get a very good chunk of money. So over on the graph, I believe we can set some orders here. We don't have any orders there. Bitcoin, I'm really not going to set any orders on. Maybe we set something for this 92K range for that bigger buy order. We could do something like that. I wouldn't really bet much lower on that. Maybe we don't see that gap fill. Again, gaps do have an 80% chance of filling, but they don't have to fill every time. That's why they're only 80%. Just like indicator, no patterns 100%. That's why you use more than one thing when you're trading. But over on graph, we do have that possibility to pull back to around this 21. So if we want to buy a little bit right here, we could do a range in there. And then let's say if we break this 26, we want to buy a little bit in here. Trade buy. Maybe we want to only buy 150 at that range. I believe we do still have some graph. Yeah, we still have some graphs, so that would kind of give us a little bit as we don't hold too much right now. Again, in my trading portfolio, it's way different because I've been DCAing through the bear market and through the crash of the bull market. So I have quite a bit more than you will see here. Despite the, we have a lot of paper trading, we're not going to utilize it all because I want to be more realistic with the numbers, kind of like you guys are. kind of like what you're going to trade with, what you might see, or the average person. So we have that 50% chance to make a pullback. Anchor, I don't think we have any of. So if we do make that pullback, let's say we scoop some up right here. Do not sell. We have nothing to sell there, so get rid of that. Trade buy, that's what we meant to hit. So that could be a decent area to buy in. And then if we broke down beyond that, we could buy in somewhere around this 34, 37, and that would give us a pretty strong average depending on how we make that buy. Remember, you would want it about even, so 200 or more than that normal buy-in you're doing. But if you're going to keep bumping it up, it's going to be harder and harder to buy at some points, like if a coin is going up, and it'll also affect your average worse if you're going up and you're buying heavier as you go up, where when you're going down and you're buying heavier when you go down, that will help your average lower. So we will look over at XRP, we got that, Algo, we got that. So I think we're pretty set for these coins. Ondo, we may want to do some buy. We did see a very strong push up, so that is pretty good. So it does say we have a 73% chance of pulling back here. So let's say we want to buy a few Ondo. Not sure. Let's see. It's worth about $1 a piece. So let's just do 100. Hit buy. There we go. And then there is a chance we do break down below that. But again, I think it would take a lot for that to happen. It does look like we'd need a head and shoulders to form. This would be a shoulder, a head, and then maybe a shoulder. So it would probably be a very long pattern, maybe several more days, in order to see if that were to happen, were to form and confirm or not. So thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join us in the Discord for any more discussions. Remember,